How's it going, fellow traders? It's Magic Trader here, and this is the CFTC data that was reported on April 23rd, 2019. Here's a snapshot of the positions held by the institutions as of that date. And for some more detailed analysis, let's take a look at what we've got here. Now, look at this on gold. Isn't this a beauty? Look at short positions and how they've been increasing over the last few weeks. Okay, last week we had a big increase in shorts from 94,000 to 126,000, and now look at where we're at now, 139,000. This is monstrous. Look at the closure of longs. I mean, how did we know that this was going to take place? I'll tell you how. Because when we study the markets, we study price action, we study supply and demand, and have an advanced knowledge of how market dynamics work, okay, how the market moves from zone to zone. And once you study the CFTC data and the positions of the institutions long enough, you start to see the same patterns, okay? And you start to get to a point where you can predict what the institutions are going to do before they even do it. Okay, on this latest report, I was talking about that, how, some say that you can't know what the institutions are going to do. Well, we take it one step further. Not only do we know what they're going to do, but we know what they're going to do before they even do it. And this is a perfect example. We knew they were going to accumulate a long position up through here, and that's exactly what they did. And then we knew once price got up here that they would start taking profits on those longs and that they would start accumulating a short position. So everything we've said is actually coming through. Okay? And we're not that surprised because, like I've mentioned many times, this is like watching a movie that you've seen many times before. We just sit back, eat some popcorn, and we let it play out with the expectations of what we are knowing is going to unfold. And so this is what's taking place. So we just got to sit back and be patient and let it continue on with the storyline. So everything is looking exactly as we would expect with gold. Now we go over to oil. And we see that they added some longs and they closed off some shorts. And that happened right at this candle of consolidation. What happened with price since then? Price moved up. What does it take to cause price to go up? Buying. Okay? Which is what we have here. What took place after that? Well, we all know that within the community, because if you're looking at the observation journals and watching the Forex Market Outlook videos, you'd know that we're hitting into some supply right now, okay, on the lower time frame, but it's situated within the higher time frame supply, and we know that at this area, this is where the institutions are likely to start accumulating a short position and for momentum to begin its shift from. Okay, you can see what we're at right here, right? 87%. That's big. All right, and 87% is where price was at before last time we saw a big drive lower. Okay, so just let that sink in, and we'll watch how the rest of the week's price action unfolds. You already know what we're expecting. If you've seen the previous analysis videos that we've done on the COT reports, we release them every week, so if you just watch the previous ones, you'll know exactly what we are expecting is going to take place here. Now we get to the dollar, and we see an increase in the dollar, right? And that comes as price rallied, broke through this area of supply. Now this is exactly, again, what we were anticipating. And I'm not saying this over and over again, because I'm bragging here. I'm saying this because it's so key to understand that we are predicting where price is going to move before it even takes place. Okay, we are doing what is being told to the rest of traders is impossible to do. Well, it's not impossible. We do it on a daily basis. And this is another example of how price is moving in the direction that we knew it was going to move into. When you have a deeper understanding and a deeper knowledge of supply and demand and how the markets actually work, you're able to determine with a high degree of accuracy where price is going to move. So let's get back on board here. So what we see here is that they're adding to their longs from 43,000 to 49, but they've also added shorts. And I want you to pay attention to this, okay? They've added longs long, but they've also added shorts. Now, I've gone into detail on the EURUSD report as to why I believe they're doing this. So take a look at the EURUSD report, read through it, and you'll see the details of why I believe they are doing this. But take note of this because we're going to look at some other pairs and we're going to see how they are doing a very similar maneuver on those other pairs as well. So, expecting price to continue to the upside. Now we go over to the Aussie. And so we have some closure of longs, and we have a big increase in shorts. Now, if you remember on the observation journals within the forum, I was posting about this area here breaking up through that trend line. And I believe that what has taken place here, well, I detailed this in last week's report. Have a look, go read through it, and you'll see what I wrote here is that this was likely a fake out, okay? Faking out traders into luring them to go long when it's actually going to go short. Because what happens is, at the test of the trend line, traders are shorting. But once it goes higher, they close those shorts for a loss, and then they start accumulating along thinking it's going to go up like this, and then they turn it around and slam it back down. And we knew they were doing that simply because we knew what forces were coming into play to cause price to move up. And again, if you want to learn what forces came into play to cause price to move up, take a look at the EURUSD report that I released last week and you'll see exactly what was taking place here. Really good learning lesson from that. Now we go over to the US CAD. What do we see? We see a big increase in longs from 67 to 70,000. So now we're starting to get more aggressive, okay? And then we see price breaking up out of the range here. And what do we also see? An increase in shorts, similar to what we saw with the dollar. Remember what I was pointing out in the dollar? Increase in longs, increase in shorts. There's something going on here. And again, I've detailed this in the EURUSD report, so go take a look. All right, so we are expecting price to continue to the upside. Still bullish, sentiment is bullish, still with the belief that price is going to go higher. Then we have the US Swiss franc, and look what we have here. Once again, increase in longs, increase in shorts. You see what's taking place here? That's happening with the US Swiss franc, US CAD, and the dollar. They're doing the same things. Okay, very important to know that. So this big increase in longs is not a surprise. We were expecting price. We're already situated long on this as well as many other dollar pairs. And we're reaping the rewards of getting in extremely early because of knowing what the institutions were going to do with price. So it is now breaking up. We see that it has broken through a very massive area of supply that the institutions were using to keep price down, but only for so long. Now they've removed that. So guess what? The door's open. And once you open the door, the path has been created to continue forward. Now we go over to the euro. What do we see here? We see a big increase in shorts. Bottom line, look at what I'm showing you right here. Negative 98 to negative 105. And then we have the drive lower. Weekly demand taken out. And we're getting the move lower just as we have been anticipating. So everything's looking great. It continues to look great. We are positioned short, and there's not much else to tell you in regards to that. So let's move on to a tricky scenario, the pound. We haven't been liking this one simply because of the current market dynamics and the zones that we are responding from. Okay, but what I can tell you is this. They've increased their longs, all right, after massively cutting off their shorts. They're starting to now focus more on longs. Their longs are becoming more aggressive, even though since that massive cut of shorts, we've started to see a slight increase in those shorts. They are focusing more on longs, okay? You can see the coloration. They're leaving the neutral territory, which used to be bearish, and we're coming into a more bullish territory. So that's interesting since we're now sitting within demand, so we could see a push to the upside even though the other markets are suggesting that something different might be happening. So I'm learning from this scenario and not going to be speculating at this time on this chart. US dollar, Japanese yen, we see an increase once again in longs, but the only difference here now, this is a US dollar pair, we don't see that increase in shorts. And that's okay, but this is the only one that's not matching all the other dollar pairs. And you can read more about that in the EURUSD report. We've hit supply, now we are reacting to the downside. Bottom line is, they are bullish. Bullishness continues to grow, and we expect it will continue to do so. The only thing here is that total positions are becoming a little bit more aggressive. Yes, there's a lot more room to keep adding, but this is just something to be aware of. All right? And now let's head over to the Kiwi dollar. Kiwi, increase in longs, but big increase in shorts, causing price to drop down into the tested area of demand. Bottom line in, we have a slight bearish bias, not much. You could tell by how much here. We are expecting price to eventually go lower, and I think that eventually they're going to make this even more aggressive than it is. Right now you can already see it's starting to become, and we've known that since back here and even further back. But just recently we knew that they were going to be adding more shorts up at these highs. If you watch the previous market analysis videos, you'll see that that's what we were saying. And then now we're getting that weakness coming down. And that's it, ladies and gents. That's your April 23rd analysis of data, I should say. The data that was released and recorded on the 23rd. That's your analysis. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. You know how to get in touch with me. The website is whiteoakfx.com. Thanks. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.